Easy English Conversations.
Simple English. Real conversations.
Hey, English learners! Welcome back to the Easy English Conversations channel, your cozy place to learn easy English through real conversations. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. Thanks for being here with us today.
I want to start with something small. This morning, I caught myself rushing through my routine. Coffee, emails, the usual, and I realized I was being oddly harsh with myself. Like mentally snapping, "Hurry up, you're already behind," before the day had even started.
That inner tone we don't even question anymore.
Exactly. It wasn't dramatic, just subtle. But it stuck with me.
Those are the moments that usually tell the truth. Not the big breakdowns, but the quiet ways we talk to ourselves when no one's listening.
And it made me wonder how often we set expectations for ourselves that we'd never put on anyone else.
Oh, all the time. We'd call it compassion if it were someone else, but for us, it's standards.
Or discipline.
Or being realistic.
Right. Which brings us into what I think is a tricky space, how we decide what's acceptable for us, not just from others, but from ourselves.
That's such a good way to frame it, because people usually think boundaries are about other people.
Like drawing lines externally?
But the first boundary is internal. It's how you treat yourself when you're tired, overwhelmed, or not at your best.
Let's slow that down. What does treating yourself well actually look like in real life? Not the Instagram version.
For me, it started with noticing how conditional my kindness was. Like, I'd be kind to myself if I had a productive day.
Ah, the performance clause.
Exactly. If I checked enough boxes, then I earned rest. Or gentleness.
And on bad days?
No mercy. Just criticism. And that's when I realized I hadn't set a standard for how I deserve to be treated on bad days.
That's huge. Because bad days are guaranteed.
They're inevitable. And if your self-worth disappears on those days, that's not self-love, that's self-management.
So, when we talk about standards, we're not talking about perfection.
No. We're talking about consistency in kindness.
Almost like setting an internal price tag.
Yes, that's such a good metaphor. An inner price tag that says, this is how I'm treated, period.
And that price doesn't fluctuate based on mood or output.
Exactly. It's not up for negotiation.
That phrase, "not up for discussion," feels powerful.
It really is, especially when it comes to self-worth.
Because so many people are still debating their worth internally.
Every day, based on likes, feedback, approval.
External validation becomes the scoreboard.
And it's exhausting, because the rules keep changing.
So what does it mean to step out of that game?
For me, it meant deciding that my value doesn't need witnesses.
Oof. Say that again?
My value doesn't need witnesses.
That's uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Because we're used to being reflected back to ourselves.
And without that reflection, it can feel like nothing's real.
But that's where self-awareness comes in.
Let's talk about that. Because it sounds abstract until it's not.
Self-awareness starts with noticing patterns. Not judging them, just noticing.
Like triggers.
Yes. What drains your energy? What tightens your chest? What makes you suddenly feel smaller?
Those are signals.
They're information. But most of us override them.
Because we don't want to be difficult.
Or selfish.
Or we don't trust ourselves enough to honor them.
Which is why protecting your energy feels radical at first.
Because it means saying, "This costs me too much."
Even if you can technically handle it.
That's an important distinction. Capability versus cost.
Yes. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
And when we ignore the cost repeatedly, burnout shows up.
Burnout is often a boundary issue, not a time management issue.
That's such a clear way to say it.
And awareness helps you see where your boundaries are leaking.
Which brings us to habits that undermine those boundaries.
The big one for me was apologizing for existing.
The sorry habit.
Constantly. Sorry to bother you. Sorry. Just one more thing. Sorry if this is dumb.
And none of those are actual apologies.
They're self-erasure. Preemptive. Shrinking.
Why do you think we do that?
I think it's a way of asking permission to take up space.
Without directly asking.
Exactly. It's saying, please don't be mad that I'm here.
And that ties directly into people pleasing.
Yes. The need to be liked becomes more important than being honest.
Or rested.
Or respected.
People pleasing often looks kind on the outside.
But inside, it's resentment waiting to happen.
Because you're constantly crossing your own boundaries.
And then blaming yourself for feeling drained.
That's where negative self-talk sneaks in.
The inner critic loves that moment.
Why can't you handle this like everyone else?
Why are you so sensitive?
Silencing that voice isn't about arguing with it, though.
No, that just keeps it engaged.
So what works?
Redirecting. Replacing criticism with curiosity. Or kindness.
Like, oh, that hurt. Interesting.
Exactly. Or even just, I'm having a hard moment.
That simple acknowledgement can soften everything.
It reminds you that you're human, not failing.
Let's get practical for a moment. Boundaries sound great in theory, but in real life, they're awkward.
So awkward.
Saying no without guilt feels impossible at first.
Because we've been taught that no requires an explanation.
Or a justification. Or an apology.
But no is a complete sentence.
People say that all the time, but it's hard to live.
It is, especially if you're used to over-explaining.
Over-explaining is another form of self-defense.
Yes. It's like saying, please understand why I'm allowed to choose myself.
But the more you explain, the more negotiable your boundary becomes.
Exactly. You invite debate.
So, creating personal space sometimes means tolerating discomfort.
Both yours and theirs.
That's the part people don't like to hear.
Boundaries don't always feel peaceful in the moment.
But they create peace long-term.
Choosing peace over approval is a muscle.
One that needs practice.
And patience.
We haven't talked yet about happiness, but I think it fits here.
It does. Because happiness isn't constant positivity.
It's resilience.
Bouncing back.
Celebrating small wins.
Like saying no once and surviving it.
Or catching negative self-talk and gently stopping it.
Or forgiving yourself for a messy day.
Perfectionism really blocks that.
Perfectionism says it only counts if it's flawless.
Which means nothing ever counts.
Exactly. Rejecting that mindset opens the door to self-forgiveness.
And self-forgiveness is underrated.
It's essential. Without it, growth feels punishing.
I want to pause us here.
Me too.
Because we've touched on standards, worth, awareness, habits, but there's a deeper question underneath all of it.
What is it?
How do you decide what you're no longer willing to tolerate from others, but especially from yourself?
That's a powerful place to stop and reflect.
Let's sit with that for a moment.
That question can feel heavy if you really let it land.
Yeah, because the answer isn't abstract. It shows up in tiny moments.
Like the second you feel that familiar tightness in your chest.
Or the pause before you say yes when you already know you mean no.
That pause is information.
Most of us rush past it.
Because sitting with it might change the decision.
And changing the decision might disappoint someone.
Or disrupt the version of ourselves we've been maintaining.
That's such a good point. Sometimes we're not protecting others, we're protecting an identity.
The reliable one, the easy one, the no trouble one.
Letting go of that identity can feel like loss.
Even if it's costing you your energy.
This is where self-awareness deepens. It's not just noticing triggers, it's noticing roles.
Yes. Who you become automatically in certain situations.
The fixer, the listener, the peacekeeper.
None of those are bad. But when they're compulsory, they're draining.
So the question becomes, where did you stop choosing and start defaulting?
And defaults are sneaky. They feel like personality.
But they're often habits.
Learned responses that once kept you safe or accepted.
And now might be outdated.
Updating them requires permission.
Permission from whom?
From yourself, first. To disappoint. To be misunderstood. To be human.
That permission is the hardest boundary.
Because no one hands it to you.
You have to claim it.
Which brings us back to practical skills, not just concepts.
Let's get really specific. Saying no without guilt, how does that actually look?
First, it looks short.
Short?
Yeah, fewer words than you're used to.
That alone can feel wrong.
Because we're conditioned to justify.
So instead of, I'm so sorry, I can't because I have a lot going on and I feel bad and maybe another time.
It becomes, I can't do that.
Full stop.
Or, that doesn't work for me.
The guilt still shows up, though.
Of course it does. Guilt doesn't disappear just because the boundary is healthy.
That's important to say. People think they're doing it wrong if they feel guilty.
Guilt is just a signal that you're doing something new.
Something that challenges old conditioning.
Exactly. The skill isn't avoiding guilt, it's not letting guilt decide.
Letting it be there without obeying it.
Yes, guilt can ride in the car, but it doesn't get to drive.
I love that image.
Me too. Because it removes the drama.
Avoiding over-explaining fits right into this.
Over-explaining is often an attempt to control how you're perceived.
Or to preempt rejection.
Right. But clarity doesn't require detail.
And boundaries don't need to be convincing.
They just need to be clear.
Creating personal space is another one people struggle with.
Because it can feel selfish.
Especially emotionally.
Emotional space is just as important as physical space.
Like not responding immediately?
Or not taking on someone else's feelings as your responsibility.
That's a big one.
So many people confuse empathy with absorption.
Feeling with someone versus feeling for them.
Exactly. You can care without carrying.
That distinction changes everything.
It protects your energy.
And energy protection isn't avoidance, it's sustainability.
If you burn out, you're no help to anyone.
Including yourself.
Which circles us back to choosing peace.
Peace is often misunderstood as passive.
Or weak.
But choosing peace can be incredibly assertive.
It's saying, this costs me too much, and I matter.
That's a radical statement for a lot of people.
Especially those who learn to earn love through usefulness.
That's such a deep pattern.
And it shows up in negative self-talk too.
Let's go there. The inner critic.
It's persistent.
And often convincing.
Because it uses your own voice.
Which makes it feel like truth.
But it's usually just an internalized standard.
Someone else's expectations that moved in rent-free.
Silencing it doesn't mean destroying it.
That sounds violent anyway.
Yeah. It's more about lowering the volume.
Or changing the channel.
Exactly. You don't argue with every thought you hear.
You notice it and choose what to engage with.
That choice is self-respect.
And it takes practice.
Everything we're talking about does.
Which is why celebrating small wins matters.
So much. Because growth is subtle.
Like the first time you say no and don't explain.
Or when you catch yourself about to apologize unnecessarily and don't.
Those moments are easy to dismiss.
but they're huge internally.
They represent a shift in standards.
And rejecting perfectionism allows you to see them.
Perfectionism blinds us to progress.
Because it only recognizes extremes.
All or nothing.
But real change lives in the middle.
Messy, uneven, human.
And that's where self-forgiveness comes in.
Forgiving yourself for not doing it perfectly,
Or for realizing something later than you wish you had.
or for outgrowing old versions of yourself.
That one's tender.
It is, because it can come with grief,
Grief for how long you tolerated less.
or how hard you were on yourself.
Self-forgiveness doesn't erase that, but it softens it.
It allows you to move forward without dragging shame.
And that movement is the path not to constant happiness, but to steadiness.
Bouncing back faster.
Trusting yourself more.
Knowing that even on bad days, your worth is intact.
That's the foundation.
I want to pause us here again,
Yeah.
because if someone's listening and feeling overwhelmed, I don't want them thinking they need to change everything at once.
That would defeat the whole point.
This work isn't about overhaul, it's about choice points.
One moment at a time.
So here's a question to sit with as we keep going.
Okay.
What's one small boundary, internal or external, you already know you need, but haven't let yourself claim yet?
That's a gentle but powerful question.
Let's hold it there for now.
That question tends to surface quietly, doesn't it? It doesn't shout, it just waits.
Yeah, and if you don't answer it, it keeps coming back in different forms.
Fatigue. Irritation. That low-level resentment that doesn't seem to have a clear target.
Which is often resentment toward ourselves.
For not protecting something we knew mattered.
That's why boundaries aren't just rules. They're signals of self-trust.
When you honor one, even a small one, you're telling yourself, I listen to you.
And when you don't, you teach yourself the opposite.
That your needs are optional, flexible, convenient.
Let's talk about value on bad days, because this is where self-love really gets tested.
Yes. Anyone can feel worthy on a good day.
When you're productive, calm, helpful,
But bad days strip all that away.
you're tired, maybe irritable, maybe you didn't show up how you wanted to.
And the question becomes, do you still belong to yourself?
Or do you exile yourself until you do better?
That exile is subtle, but it's powerful.
It shows up as withholding kindness.
Or rest. Or patience.
I've noticed people often say, I'll be nicer to myself once things settle down.
But things never fully settle.
So kindness gets postponed indefinitely.
That's why deciding, I am enough, has to be unconditional.
Not up for discussion.
Exactly. Not something you negotiate with your mood.
Or with someone else's opinion,
Avoiding external validation is a big part of that.
because validation feels good, but it's unstable.
It rises and falls with feedback.
And when you rely on it, your sense of worth becomes reactive.
You're only as okay as the last response you got.
Stepping away from that doesn't mean you don't care what people think.
It means their opinions don't outrank your own.
That's a subtle but huge shift.
And it takes self-awareness to maintain.
Awareness of when you're performing versus being honest.
Or when you're agreeing out of alignment, not generosity.
That distinction is so important.
Generosity feels expansive. Alignment feels grounded.
People-pleasing feels tight.
Yes, there's usually a physical cue.
That's why noticing triggers matters.
Your body often knows before your mind catches up.
A clenched jaw. A shallow breath.
A spike of anxiety after saying yes.
Those are invitations to pause next time.
And ask, what am I actually protecting here?
Approval? Avoidance of conflict?
Or the belief that you have to earn your place?
Overcoming those habits isn't about flipping a switch,
It's about interrupting patterns.
like the sorry habit,
Replacing sorry with thank you when appropriate.
or saying nothing at all,
Silence can be powerful.
especially when you're used to filling space to make others comfortable.
That's a big one. Letting silence exist without fixing it.
It can feel almost unbearable at first.
But it teaches you that you don't need to perform constantly.
Fixing negative self-talk follows a similar principle.
You don't argue with every thought.
You don't believe every thought either.
You notice it, label it, and choose your response.
That's my inner critic talking.
Not, that's the truth.
Silencing it isn't about force.
It's about repetition.
Repeatedly choosing a kinder voice,
Even if it feels fake at first.
especially then.
Kindness often feels unfamiliar before it feels true.
That's such an important reminder,
Practical boundary skills really bring this home.
like saying no without guilt.
Or rather, saying no with guilt and doing it anyway.
Because guilt doesn't mean you're wrong.
It usually means you're changing.
Avoiding over-explaining helps here.
It reinforces that your needs don't require a presentation.
Creating personal space does too.
Physical space, emotional space, time.
Space is where clarity grows.
Without it, everything blends together.
And choosing peace often looks like choosing less.
Fewer obligations, fewer arguments, fewer explanations,
Less noise.
which creates room for joy.
Let's talk about joy, not the big, dramatic kind.
The quiet kind,
Celebrating small wins.
like noticing you didn't spiral after a mistake,
Or that you caught a negative thought and softened it.
or that you rested without earning it.
Those moments don't look impressive.
But they build happiness from the inside.
Rejecting perfectionism makes those wins visible.
Perfectionism erases progress.
It says, not enough, no matter what you do.
Letting it go allows you to bounce back faster.
Resilience isn't about never falling.
It's about how quickly you return to yourself.
Self-forgiveness plays a huge role there.
Forgiving yourself for old patterns.
For staying too long.
For learning late.
For being human.
That forgiveness doesn't excuse harm, it releases weight.
So you can move forward lighter.
And that lightness is often what people describe as happiness.
Not constant joy, but steadiness.
A sense that you're on your own side.
Even when things are messy.
Especially then.
I want to slow us down as we wrap this up.
Me too.
Because self-love isn't loud.
It's quiet and consistent.
It shows up in choices no one applauds.
In boundaries no one sees.
In conversations you don't have anymore.
In the way you speak to yourself on bad days.
If someone listening takes one thing from today,
I hope it's this.
you don't need to become someone new.
You just need to stop abandoning yourself.
Little by little.
Choice by choice.
Boundaries aren't walls.
They're doors with locks you control.
And self-love isn't indulgence.
It's responsibility.
Responsibility for your energy.
Your time.
Your worth.
You're allowed to protect those.
Without guilt.
Without explanation.
Just because you matter.
That's not something you earn.
It's something you remember.
Thanks for being here with us.
For listening. And for reflecting.
Take what you need from this conversation.
And leave the rest.
Be gentle with yourself today.
We'll talk again soon.
Take care.